So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Can you get back here, BSN Network? This is the BSN Network podcast here today. It is Wednesday, May 19th. Hopefully everybody's having a good day so far and had a good rest of their day yesterday. It is in fact Wednesday, May 19th here today. We are coming off of another packed sports night last night. NHL playoffs, NBA play-in series started. Obviously, NHL playoffs continued. New York Yankees got a win. And obviously, we open up this Wednesday with a lot of sports to get to. A lot of great action around not only the MLB, but around the NBA and the NHL. So that's super exciting. Yankees, like I mentioned, got a very good win last night. It wasn't pretty. It was a little ugly, but we did got a win. A win's a win. A dub is a dub. A W is a W, and that is all that matters. We move. We got another win. We now head into today's game. With an opportunity to take two, and if that's the case, then tomorrow is a golden opportunity to take three and at least know that you're not going to lose the series if you take two. Now, I would not be very happy if we split with the Texas Rangers, if we split two. If we take 2-2, I personally would not be very happy. I thought this series by far could have been a sweep because the Texas Rangers are not that good. They're one of the worst teams in MLB. But we have split. So we're 1-1 right now. We got a game tonight, then a game tomorrow. So you just got to hope the New York Yankees here at least take one more. I do not want to lose tonight and lose tomorrow. You cannot leave Texas with 1-3 in a 4-game set. That is not acceptable. But, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and complain. But that's how I am as a fan. I'm very, I expect, but I like my teams to, I don't sugarcoat a lot of things, if you could tell with my sports team. So, yes, the Yankees got a win last night. And yes, I understand, they bursted out and got a big 5-run inning that, jolted them to take the lead, and they never lost it. Obviously, they were down 3-0. They weren't hitting. They weren't doing anything. Tyone struggled a little bit. And then they score 5 runs, and there was no looking back. They ended up adding on 2 more. The Rangers scored 1 more, but then it was 7-4, and the Yankees win. So, I look at this game today as get the win, take 2-1 in the series, and tomorrow it's a day game. It's a getaway day. Get the win tomorrow and get back home. And, get ready for a homestand, which is 3 against the White Sox and I believe 3 against the Blue Jays. So, an opportunity to finish up this long road trip, get back home, get back, in your own building at Yankee Stadium and, try to focus on, the White Sox and the Blue Jays games. And the White Sox have got a lot going on, and I'm going to get to that today. They've got a lot going on, the Chicago White Sox. There's a lot of stuff going on. I have a very strong opinion on what is going on with the Chicago White Sox. I'll get to it today. But to recap, other than that, the last night in sports, obviously Yankees got a win. They play today as well. Like I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned this. Mets also. Mets got a win yesterday. Kevin Pillar was in the dugout. So, I don't know if you guys saw it. He actually handed out the lineup card. So, Kevin Pillar is in the dugout. He was in the dugout yesterday. He is, he's quite the warrior, I guess you could kind of say. Whatever you want to say. He is tough. He is very tough. He got hit. And, 24 hours later, he was back out there in the dugout. Now, he is banged up. He's got 2 black eyes. His right eye, he said, was swelling, so periodically he needed to keep the swelling down. He would get it down and it would start swelling again, but that's how it is. I mean, he's definitely got some probably facial damage, which it's going to take some time for him to get back. He looks much worse than Bryce Harper, and I'm nothing against Harper, but Harper, when he got hit in the face, he got hit, but Harper, I think, got hit more in the side of the face. As for Pillar, he got hit more right in the nose area. Harper, I feel like, got hit more on the side, so there wasn't much damage to the eyes or the nose. He got hit more cheek area. But Pillar, he got nailed right in the face. He's got a big nose. Now his nose is really big because it's all swollen. It's all black and blue. He's got a piece of paper up the nose, I guess, to stop the bleeding or whatever. But he looks banged up. But he was back out there. Not playing, but he was in the dugout. And that's good to see. That's good to see. definitely good to see. Obviously, good to see that, he's also, reacting and doing well. If you get hit in the face, that could definitely hurt you big time, not only just then, but throughout your career. That could definitely have an effect on how the rest of your career goes in the sport of baseball. So, good thing he's doing, he's obviously injured, but good thing he's doing better. And, obviously he was back out there in the dugout yesterday. And, as an MLB fan, I'm not a Met fan, but as an MLB fan, you got to hope that he gets back out into the field sooner rather than later, especially with all the Mets injuries. And now add him to the list. He was producing well with all the Mets injuries. So now add him to the list, and now it's another injury. Obviously, the Islanders also lost yesterday. I said it was almost like a letdown game. I said I could see a letdown game coming, with your 4-3 win in overtime. I did say it. I said it, and sure enough, it was. They let up that first goal or second goal of the game was a really weak goal. Not good defense, just terrible. That's unacceptable. And they lost. Just could not, they allowed two. It was 2-1. They just couldn't get anything going on offense. That's really the story of the game. And then as for the NBA, Celtics beat the Wizards. So Nets versus Celtics round 1. And the Pacers beat the Hornets. So the Pacers will now move on and play the Wizards tomorrow. And tonight's games are the Grizzlies Spurs and the Lakers Warriors. So 2 other games on tonight. The winner of the Lakers Warriors will play the Nuggets, right? Or no, the Suns, right? I think. And then the winner of the Grizzlies Spurs will play the loser of the Lakers Warriors. And then tomorrow, like I said, Pacers Wizards will play. That game's it. Whoever wins that game is in. Whoever doesn't, they're done. So we'll see how that goes. But with all that being said, let's get into the topics for today. So I forgot to write down New York Sports Update on here. But with that being said, today's topics are going to be, like I mentioned, with the Chicago White Sox. There is a lot going on with the White Sox, and it is a lot of bad stuff going on, a lot of controversial stuff, it's a very big topic around the MLB with the unwritten rules in baseball. And Tony La Russa, the manager of the Chicago White Sox, is just throwing his players under the bus, throwing almost like that locker room under the bus because of the unwritten rules in baseball. And I'll explain to you the whole story. And obviously, Yermin Mercedes, obviously swinging on a 3-0 pitch against a position player when they're obviously against a position player when they are when they were winning by a lot. He threw a 3-0 pitch, 47 mile an hour. Yermin Mercedes crushed it. It's been a talk around the MLB whether you should swing on 3-0 or not swing on 3-0. I am a big believer in this. I have a very strong opinion on this, and this just gets me so angry. Tony La Russa in general. I mean, he doesn't have his players back. He's throwing his players under the bus. Yermin Mercedes yesterday got thrown at intentionally, and Tony La Russa was okay with it. So La Russa is just absolute garbage right now. He's treating his players terrible. He's disagreeing with his players. He has lost that locker room. And if I'm the Chicago White Sox, I fire La Russa. I fire him. He's an old school manager. He's not meant for the MLB right now. He isn't. He's an old school manager. His prime is long gone, people. His prime is long gone. All right, he's an old school manager. He shouldn't be managing in the modern day MLB. So I'm going to get into that. Then I wanted to get into no-hitters in baseball. Today's a big baseball day. There was another no-hitter thrown last night by Turnbull. So I wanted to talk about that. Congrats to him. Another no-hitter. But that's 5 no-hitters this year, plus Madison Bumgarner's 7th 7-inning no-hitter, which doesn't officially count, but it was a 7-inning no-hitter. So 5 no-hitters, and, I mean, to be honest, that's 5 no-hitters. We're on pace to break many records this season, and the batting has been down, strikeouts have been up, hits have been down, home runs have been down. I kind of tell you what position baseball is in right now because, I mean, we went from having so many home runs to so many high-scoring games to this year, the batting percentage being down, the strikeouts are up, the home runs are down, the hits are down, to all of a sudden this transitioning from a home run league and a power hitting league to a pitcher's dominant league now. And I'm going to talk about that. Then I'm going to get into the New York sports update. We'll finish off the podcast. Obviously, Yankees, Mets, Islanders day off, all play today. Like I said, Islanders day off. And then you got the NBA play-in and more NHL playoffs today. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so I'm not pretty sure. The Nets play on Saturday, Knicks play on Sunday. So I'll preview all that stuff on Friday as we head into the weekend. But with all that being said, this is the BSN podcast, and let's get right into it. So Tony La Russa, Yermin Mercedes will endure consequences for home run on 3-0 count. So let me just give you, before I really get into what is going on with the Chicago White Sox, and to be honest, the New York Yankees might be catching the White Sox at the right time. We obviously start up the series after the Rangers series, so the Yankees might actually be catching the Chicago White Sox at the right time. Because the White Sox, there's a lot going on within the organization right now. Tony La Russa is pretty much, and I'm not sugarcoating at all, he's throwing the players under the bus. He's disagreeing with a lot of the players. His rookie star, Yermin Mercedes, who is arguably one of the best hitters in the league right now, batting up in the 360s, he's okay with him being intentionally thrown at, and he's not okay with him hitting a home run. So let me just give you kind of the timeline of events, because a lot has unfolded in the Chicago White Sox organization in the past 3 days. So the White Sox were destroying the Twins. It was, I believe, Tuesday? No, it was Monday. Yeah, because today's Wednesday. I don't know why I thought today was Thursday for some reason. So it's Wednesday today. So this game happened on Monday. So Monday obviously was the game between the White Sox and the Twins. Now, the White Sox were crushing the Twins. I don't even remember the exact score. I believe it was like 16-4 or something. It was something wild. Or maybe not 6. I think the final score was 16-4. So when Mercedes got up, it was probably like Yermin Mercedes, when he got up, it was probably like 13-4. It was something. It was a blowout. It was in the late innings, and a position player was on the field. A position player was pitching. So, a lot of times that happens where a position player will pitch where they don't want to waste the bullpen in a 12-10 run game, or they ran out of guys in the bullpen and they just need someone else to come in. So he threw 3 straight balls. Now, let me mind you, this guy's throwing 47 miles an hour. Obviously, some guys nowadays are throwing 100. He's throwing 47. So they're coming in really slow. It's a position player. The game's pretty much done. So it's a 3-0 count. And he's thrown 3 pitches right down the middle. Now, the other 3 pitches were not close. They were not strikes, I should say. They were not strikes. But he was throwing the same pitch. It was a lob right down the middle, right? He's a position player. He's not going to go throw curveballs on a knuckle curve and, have a 20-mile-an-hour drop-off on his fastball to his changeup. No. Okay, he's a position player. He's just going to throw a lob in there. So a 3-0 count, he throws a lob. It's upper in the strike zone, I would say. I would say if Yermin Mercedes didn't swing in it, I would probably say it's probably a ball, or a strike rather, because it was kind of the ump's decision. It wasn't too obvious. It could go either way. That's besides the point. But Yermin Mercedes took a big swing at it, and he hit a rocket. He hit a long, high fly ball to center field, a little bit to the left, not dead center, but a little bit to the left. It was a home run. So Mercedes, all that stuff. Now, yesterday, it's a 3-0 count. Remember, he swung on a 3-0 count. And remember last year when Tatis swung on a 3-0 count against the Texas Rangers and it was bases loaded and they were winning by a lot, he swung on a 3-0 count and hit a grand slam. And remember what happened when he did it, right? A lot of the players, the head coach was upset. Some people were about their unwritten rules and stuff. So this is the same thing here with Yermin Mercedes. They're winning by a lot. It's a 3-0 count and he swung at a pitch. Now, if you're going to ask me, do I have any problem with it? I have zero problem if you swing at a 3-0 pitch. Because as they always say, I have zero problem with it. Now, swinging at a 3-0 pitch that's in the dirt, I would be mad. Swinging at a pitch that's not a strike, I'm going to be mad. Not because the unwritten rules, because you could get on base instead of swinging at a bad pitch. Now, if you swing at a pitch that's over your head on 3-0, I'm going to be mad. Not because of the unwritten rules, because you just gave up an opportunity to get on base and you swung and now 3-2 and now the pitcher's got some momentum. I have no issue if you hit a home run. Hit a 500-foot home run on 3-0 count. I could care less. Honestly, I would like that. 500-foot home run, that would create some great highlights around the MLB. Okay, also, Yermin Mercedes really helped my fantasy team with that home run. That's besides the point. I have no issue if you swing on 3-0. When Tatis got, rocked around for the unwritten rules, right? I had no issue with it. I had zero issue with it. Honestly, it was a good hit. It was his first Grand Slam of his career. Let the guy be happy. I believe it was. Let the guy be happy. He's a young kid, and everyone's attacking him because he swung on a 3-0 pitch. As they always say. Not as they always, but 3-0 count, right? A lot of times people tend to take the pitch. They won't swing. Sometimes you get the green light. For example, Judge the other day got a green light on 3-0 pitch. He fouled it back. It was right down the middle. He just missed it. No one had any issue with that. It's because it's a blowout. But what happened here with the Yermin Mercedes thing was what happens with 3-0 count is a lot of times people say the first pitch is sometimes the best pitch you'll get in at bat. And you want to know why? Because the first pitch, a lot of time, is when the pitcher is trying to get ahead. That's the truth. The batter is up there, right? If a pitcher throws a strike on the first pitch, that's good. Automatically, the batter's already in a hole 0-1. If a pitcher throws a ball the first pitch, that's a 1-0 count. Pitcher's in a hole now. So they usually first pitch sometimes. That's why a lot of these guys do it. They swing at the first pitch. Because a lot of times first pitch is one of the best pitches you'll see all at bat. Now the rest of the at bat could be off speed, could be high, could be outside, could be inside. You might get a cookie down the middle if the guy hangs it, and then you could crank it. But on a 3-0 count, what is this guy going to do? He's probably going to throw it around the middle. It's not going to be a 3-0 count. He's not going to try to throw some junk pitch and then have you lay off of it. Right? So 3-0 count, you're going to more than likely see a good pitch. Same thing with first pitch of the at-bat. So why look at a 3-0 count? And, like I said, I have no issue if they look at a 3-0 count, but I'm just saying. If you have a 3-0 count and they throw it down the middle, swing at it. I don't care if it's 20-0. I don't care if the game's a blowout. I don't care if a position player's out there. Swing at it. And this is where La Russa makes no sense. He's mad that Yermin Mercedes, who has been the best hitter on the White Sox, and has been just unreal. I mean, the guy's taken the league by storm right now. He's a guy that was a no-name coming up, and he has been dominant. And he's batting .367, I believe, right now. And his RBIs are through the roof. Run scored, slugging percentage is out of this world. And he's mad at him because he hit a home run. And the unwritten rules in baseball are so stupid. They're unwritten for a reason. They're not real rules. Oh, the unwritten rules in baseball, you can't swing at 3-0. That's not true. You can swing at 3-0 all you want. The unwritten rules in baseball. And Tony La Russa is saying that Yermin Mercedes is going to face consequences. Now, I want to ask, if La Russa should get asked this question. Would he rather him swing at a 3-0 pitch and hit it over the fence? Or would he rather him, look at the 3-0 pitch and have a 3-1 and then maybe ground out on that next pitch? What would you rather? Now, La Russa, because he's crazy, he's out of his mind, he might say they'd rather have him ground out because he's all into the unwritten rules. Okay, people, baseball's different. La Russa is way past his time. Baseball is different. Sports are different. Okay, he's an old school manager managing a relatively younger team in modern day baseball. He does not fit. He's making himself look silly. And he's not backing up his players. So, for those of you who stand on La Russa's side, I want to ask you this question. He's not backing up any of his players. Yermin Mercedes, he's not backing him up. He threw him under the bus. The Minnesota Twins threw at him yesterday. They threw a pitch behind him intentionally. Pitcher got thrown out. La Russa said he was okay with it. He was okay with his star player getting thrown at. What manager says that? Managers are usually out there protecting their guy. A lot of times they'll get thrown out because they're mad that pitcher didn't get thrown out. He's not standing up for his players. La Russa might as well go coach the Minnesota Twins because he seems like he likes them more. I mean, this is crazy. All over the unwritten rules in baseball. Let the guy be. He hit a 3-0 home run. It was a nice hit. Right? They always say, it ain't, Yogi Berra has always said it ain't over till it's over. Don't just stop swinging and stop trying just because you're up by 12 runs. I'm not saying the other team's going to make a comeback, but you got to put 100% in the entire game. It's almost like in football. You can't play 30 minutes to win a football game. You got to play all 60. You got to play all 60 strong minutes. Same thing in the NBA. You can't play, 24 minutes. You can't play the first half and not show up for the second half. Same thing in the MLB. You got to play all 9 innings through. 100% through all 9 innings. Okay? Complaining that he hit a 3-0 pitch and it's a home run is ridiculous. And then Tim Anderson's got Yermin Mercedes back. He said something on social media. Mercedes responded. And then Lance Lynn today said something about the unwritten rules, about how dumb they are. And La Russa snapped back at Lance Lynn. Let me tell you something. Lance Lynn's the starting pitcher for the Chicago White Sox. Trevor Bauer has also got involved. He's a pitcher for the Dodgers. But he also got involved. And La Russa is just full on against his players. And I hope the Chicago White Sox fire Tony La Russa. And they should. And there's a lot of White Sox fans that are very angry. There is a lot of White Sox fans that are very angry. To be honest, this hire was questionable when it was made because he's an old school manager. He hasn't coached in such a long time. And to then just hire him is just kind of weird. But I mean, come on. The unwritten rules, they're not rules. They're unwritten for a reason. Just stop with these unwritten rules in baseball. And gonna give your consequences, and it's just so dumb. And Yermin Mercedes isn't in the lineup today. And you know what? You're removing one of the biggest bats in the lineup. I mean, La Russa looks silly. He's making a fool of himself. He looks stupid. He is straight out a loser right now. Tony loser. He's a loser. He's an absolute loser. Just because you were good back, in the 1800s doesn't mean he can be good now. In the 1800s, that's not true. That was an exaggeration. But he's an old school manager coaching modern day baseball. It ain't going to work out. And he's just so, it gets me angry. Because the unwritten rules are so dumb in baseball. And to not have your players back, to be okay with your star player getting thrown at, really, that's quite the manager right there. That's the manager right there. Being okay with your player being thrown at because he swung at a 3-0 pitch. He swung at a 3-0 pitch and hit a home run. He didn't swing it in and ground out or fly out. He hit a home run. He swung at a 3-0 pitch and hit a home run. He is mad that his star player hit a home run. I mean, where in the world does anyone think about this? Does La Russa just not want his guys to swing? Does he just not want his guys to do well? What is he doing? He's lost the locker room right now. And to be honest, if I'm the White Sox, I want him to get out of there. Because he obviously doesn't have the players' backs. He doesn't. He obviously doesn't have the players' backs. Tim Anderson, Yermin Mercedes, Lance Lynn have all spoke out on it. He obviously does not have the players' backs. And what really got me angry, and I'm not even a White Sox fan, what really got me angry yesterday was when he said he was okay with his player getting thrown at. He was okay with the Twins pitcher throwing behind Yermin Mercedes. That's quite the manager right there. That's the manager right there. That's a great manager. Having your players back, that's the manager right there. He doesn't have the players back. He's disagreeing with everything the player says. He's okay with his star player getting thrown at. I mean, look at what happened to Pilar. Now, Pilar's wasn't intentional, but what if that happened to Mercedes? Would you have been okay with it then? If your star player got hit in the face with a ball? So he's okay with his players getting thrown at. He's getting into fights with his players, but he's not okay with his star player hitting a home run. There's so many questionable things with Tony La Russa right now. If I'm the Chicago White Sox, I get rid of him. I get rid of him. La Russa should not be coaching the Chicago Whites. He's not the right fit. He's lost. His coaching does not fit the MLB right now. He didn't even know the extra inning rule. He didn't even know it. The White Sox went into an extra inning game. He didn't even know the extra inning rule. And there are about 4 to 5 games this season that is his to blame because he's coaching it like it's an old-time baseball. It's not true. Okay, people? Sports evolve. Okay, sports evolve. There's a lot more technology now. There's a lot more research when it comes to baseball. There's no longer... It's not like baseball when La Russa managed. I'm sorry. It's not. It's not. It's changed. And La Russa doesn't fit in. And it just gets me annoyed. Because the unwritten rules are so dumb. So what if you swing on a 3-0 pitch? Go swing on a 3-0 pitch all you want. It's just so... And then not having your players back. And then being okay with your player getting thrown at is just mind-boggling. I mean, it's not like he's even the manager. He's against everything they do. And he's saying a lot of stuff. He said stuff back to Lance Lynn, and, he's going to pay for it. Because it's going to be funny when he gets fired and he doesn't have a job in the MLB, and it's going to be funny. It's going to be real funny. All this that he's doing, the White Sox got to take notice. Their front office, they got to take notice. And he's saying this all stuff publicly, so he can't go back, just like he forgot about the extra inning rule. He can't go back and be like, oh, I said that? No, he can't, because it's on record. We all heard it. It's around the MLB. Oh, I'm okay, he's going to face consequences. Yep, facing consequences for swinging at a 3-0 pitch and hitting a home run. Who in the world's got an issue? Like, why do you have an issue with that? Like, yes, it was a blowout. I understand that. But who cares? The guy hit a home run. I mean, it's just, oh my gosh. Baseball and the unwritten rules and these managers and Tony La Russa. It's just like, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And, I mean, White Sox fans aren't happy. I know that for a fact. You see it all over the place now. I mean, everyone's just shocked. Everyone's just shocked. That he doesn't seem to care about the players. He just doesn't seem to care. And it just gets me angry because I don't like the unwritten rules. I think they're so outrageously dumb. Everyone's talking about, So, here's the issue. Here's what Tony La Russa wants. He doesn't want his players swinging at a 3-0 pitch. So, that's okay. Don't swing at a 3-0 pitch, and let's see how you do. And that's what the unwritten rules are. People believe that you shouldn't swing at a 3-0 pitch. So, you know what? The MLB, they're testing all these other rules. Test that rule. Have a player not swing at a 3-0 pitch. So, you know what? It's a rule. And if you do, it's an out. So, when a pitcher can throw a cookie in there down the middle for a strike, that's okay. It's just dumb. Like, it doesn't make sense why you can't swing at 3-0. It's swing whenever you want. I don't care if you swing at the first pitch, swing at the second pitch, swing at the third pitch. I don't care. Swing whenever you want. It just, when you swing, make them pay for it. And Mercedes did that. It's just funny that he's complaining. La Russa is complaining over the fact that he hit a home run. Like, I mean, like I said, everyone's got their opinions, and I get that. But, if you're on La Russa's side, why do you believe, and I want to ask you this, I'm not saying any of you who are watching this video are, but I would love to hear your comments in the sec. I would love to hear your opinions in the comment section down below. But, it's almost like one of these things that just leaves you speechless. It's just, so dumb. You got an issue with your player swinging a 3-0 pitch and hitting a home run. Really? Like I said, if they got to swing at a 3-0 pitch, the only time I would be mad if you swing at a 3-0 pitch is if it's in the dirt and you could have been on base. But that's not anything with the unwritten rules. If you would have swing at a 3-0 pitch all you want, but you got to be smart about it. Don't swing at a 3-0 pitch that would be a ball, right? Because that's an issue. Because then all of a sudden the pitcher's back in the count. But if you swing at a 3-0 pitch and you hit it, I have no issue with it. So, you know what? Let's see how it goes. The next time Mercedes gets in a 3-0 count, he should just stand up there and just look. He shouldn't even get ready. He should just stand up there and look and see how La Russa feels about that. And then gets to 3-1, And then maybe the next pitch is 3-2, and all of a sudden, instead of getting on base, it's a 3-2 count. When the pitch is down the middle, it was a 47-mile-an-hour cookie down the middle, and he's got an issue with it. And La Russa is digging himself into a hole. He's losing the team, he's losing the locker room, and he's embarrassing himself. He really is. He really is embarrassing himself. Calling out his players. Having an issue with him swinging at a 3-0 pitch. Tatis did the same thing last year. And that's another thing, too, with the MLB. A lot of people complain that the MLB is too boring. I don't think that. I love the MLB. I love watching baseball. Right? I really do. Baseball is awesome. I don't find baseball boring. I could sit there for 3 hours and, I do it all the time. I did it with the Yankees Rangers. I do it all the time for the Yankees games. I have a score. I do the scorebook. So that means, 1 through 9 order what they do. I do the scorebook during the games. I love baseball. It's awesome. I don't find it being boring. But a lot of people out there, maybe short attention spans, with all the dead time in baseball, because there is a lot. I don't find it boring, though. There is a lot of, sometimes, especially depending on who you get the pitcher. But there is a lot of, time there in baseball where, it's like, it's very, how should I word it? It's very, it's just not as quick as other sports. It's the only sport that doesn't require a clock. Out of the main sports. Hockey, basketball, and football all have, clocks, right? Football, it's 15 minutes a quarter. Hockey, it's 20. Intermission, 20 minutes a period. And then same thing with the NBA, it's 12 minutes a quarter. Obviously, NFL is 15 minutes a quarter. NFL is 60 in total. Hockey is 60 or 40 in total. No, 60 in total. And the NBA is also is 48 in total. And obviously in college, it's 40 in total and all that stuff. But I'm not going to get into that. Baseball is the only sport without a clock. So to be honest, yes, they got the pitch clock. But to be honest, a pitcher could get a ball, pick up the rosin bag, walk around the mound, and then may deliver another pitch. So a lot of people get bored by that. And you might be thinking, where am I going with this? Well, I'm going where a lot of people don't like when the game's low scoring and it's a lot of no action. But then you get a guy like Yermin Mercedes, who hits a long fly ball in a game that already has a lot of action, just adds on to it. That gets a lot of people excited. So the MLB here, if you are going to, that's the issue. If you got a problem with a player swinging a 3-0 pitch, well, look at the other side too and say, hey, well, you can look at the other side and say, hey, a lot of people complain that there's not enough scoring in the sport, but when a guy hits a home run, everyone's either the manager's mad that he swung on a 3-0 pitch. Like, imagine being mad that he's mad that Yermin Mercedes hit a home run. I'm gonna leave it at that, and I'm gonna leave it at that. He is mad that Yermin Mercedes hit a home run. Leave it at that, because that's really what it is. He is. It's just he doesn't have his players' backs. It's just, oh my gosh, it's just. I'm just scrolling through people's comments on Bleacher Report, and it's the truth. Tony La Russa losing a team in a locker room, La Russa is a clown. Time to fire La Russa. This is it. Imagine being a manager and not having your own players' backs. Just imagine. Well, White Sox should fire him. It's just crazy. La Russa, unwritten rules in baseball are not good. And, he doesn't have his players' backs. He's okay with his star player getting thrown at. And you know what? Remove Yermin Mercedes out of the lineup and see how it goes for you. Remove your best hitter on the lineup and see what happens. Let's see. And obviously today, White Sox Tony La Russa stands by Yermin Mercedes' criticism. Respect the game. That doesn't make any sense. Respect the game. What respecting of the game? This is what La Russa said. Do you think you need more runs to win? You keep pushing, La Russa told reporters Wednesday. If you think I have enough, respect the game and opposition, sportsmanship. No, I get it, sportsmanship. I understand. You want to have good sportsmanship. But 3-0 count, hitting a home run, it's not that that's bad sportsmanship. It's not bad sportsmanship. Hitting a home run is not bad sportsmanship. So, and this is my question too. What's the difference between swinging at a 3-0 pitch or a 3-1 pitch. Let's just say he looked at that pitch and it's a strike. What's the difference? I would love to ask La Russa that. La Russa, what's the difference between swinging at a 3-0 pitch? So let's just say he doesn't swing at that pitch, 3-1. Next pitch he hits a home run. Is that still bad? Is that terrible? It's only because he swung at a 3-0 count? Really? Like, that's the dumb part. It's so dumb. La Russa called a decision around Mercedes homer. Much ado about a little bit. He added he's not aware of any blowback from his players, but a lot of guys have it. I'd be willing to bet there isn't anybody in the clubhouse that's upset. I mentioned that's not the way we compete. I walked around the clubhouse last night and nobody was giving me the Heisman. Now, that's false because Tim Anderson sent stuff on Twitter. Mercedes replied to that, and now Lance Lynn is saying that. Let's see here. La Russa addressed comments made by White Sox Lance Lynn over unwritten rules. Lance is a locker. I have an office. I don't agree. And, what did I say publicly? I said a young player made a mistake, which, by the way, he did and we need to acknowledge. Did I say that he's being outrageous? He did not make a mistake. He hit a home run. I don't know how hitting a home run is making a mistake. And then the next one was La Russa told reporters prior to Tuesday's game that Mercedes made a mistake and there will be a consequence to endure here within our family. And then Mercedes came right back at him and said, I'm going to play like that. I'm Yerman. I can't be another person because if I change it, everything's going to change. Tyler Duffy obviously threw behind Mercedes and obviously, and La Russa was okay with that. Now, this is what Anderson wrote on Instagram Tuesday. The game wasn't over. Keep going, you big daddy. That's what I guess he calls Mercedes. They call him the Yerminator as well. And, the guy's batting .366, ranked 6th with a 414 on base percentage, and is 17th with a .567 slugging percentage. So, that just give you a couple numbers there about how good he's been. And if they're going to give him consequences, then that's completely outrageous. But it's just mind-boggling how a manager can, and this is what La Russa, I don't have a problem with Twins throwing behind Yerman Mercedes. So this was it. This was a video, but I'll give you some of the quotes. It wasn't that suspicious, La Russa told reporters in regards to whether he believed the pitch was thrown intentionally. I'm suspicious when someone throws at someone's head. I don't have a problem with how the Twins handled that. So anybody throwing at anybody. Now, if it's a light throw, okay. But he threw behind him. I mean, threw behind him. It's just ridiculous. And then, he wrote he's not going to do that again. He said it's sportsmanship and respect. That's what La Russa said. And then Mercedes said that he's going to continue to do it. He's going to continue to play his game. So, it's just funny. It's just funny how a manager, let's see here. So, the pitch yesterday was behind him. It was low. And I don't know if he got hit, but it was behind him. It was clearly intentional. It's just mind-boggling to me that a manager could get mad at a player because he swung and hit a home run. I don't care what count it is. Like 3-0 count, 3-1 count, 3-2 count, 0-2 count, 1-1 count, whatever it is. If you swing at strikes, try to put the ball in play. That's the goal. I mean, he's just completely outrageous with his comments right now. And I've got a big issue with it. So, leave your comments down below. I think the unwritten rules are dumb. I think Yerman Mercedes should keep playing like he's playing, keep hitting home runs, and, La Russa has got himself in a hole, and he's digging it deeper by criticizing his players and saying things that he is saying. He's digging it deeper. So, we'll see how the rest of this plays out, and, Next up here, I wanted to get into no-hitters in baseball. There was another no-hitter last night. Spencer Turnbull threw a no-hitter for the Detroit Tigers. But the no-hitters, obviously, there's been 5 of them already. And we have not even hit June. There has been other years where there's 5 all year, less than 5 in the entire season. I wanted to talk about the MLB situation with no-hitters, and I also wanted to get into just overall hitting in the MLB because it's a whole lot different this season. I'll get into that coming up next. Okay, so like I said, with the MLB no-hitters and with the MLB today, a lot of MLB today. So I wanted to get into the Mercedes. Obviously, I already cleared that up. It took a long time. It's already 40 minutes into the video, but I want to take my time on that. I had a lot to say on that. Definitely had some strong opinions on that, and those are just one of those things in sports that are just outrageous, and hitting a home run is what makes baseball fun, and what creates the nice highlights. And when a guy does and your manager doesn't like it, it's outrageous. And when he's okay with you getting thrown at and snapping back at players and not having players' backs, it's just outrageous. So I wanted to get into this other thing here with the MLB. This is actually the complete opposite of hitting a home run because this is about no-hitters. There was another no-hitter last night in the MLB. Congrats to Spencer Turnbull. He's obviously on the Detroit Tigers. He threw a no-hitter last night. Now, I'm going to make this clear. When I'm talking about this topic today, I want to make this clear. Okay, because a lot of people are downplaying no-hitters. They are. Now, is a no-hitter a perfect game? No, but it's a no-hitter. It's allowing no hits. It is allowing one guy on base, but it's not allowing a hit. And that's very difficult to not allow a hit. So, obviously, no-hitters is a very tough accomplishment to get. No-hitters, perfect game, one-hit shutouts. To throw a complete game is a very tough accomplishment. And in nowadays baseball, you don't see as many guys going 8-9 innings. You don't see them throwing 110, 120 pitches anymore. A lot of times they're out of the game at 90, maybe get stretched to 100, which is around the 7th inning. So you don't see, and that's why it's special when you see an 8-9 inning start, or in this case, a no-hitter. And I want to make this clear. No-hitters are still a very special achievement. It is still a very special accomplishment. It is one of the hardest things to do in all of sports. It really is. Throwing a no-hitter and throwing a perfect game. Throwing a no-hitter obviously means that you did allow a guy on base, but you did not allow any hits. So look at, for example, some guys let up a hit on the first pitch. He did not. He got 27 outs without letting up a hit. We all know what no-hitters is not going to explain it. They're very difficult. And I do have an issue with people downplaying no-hitters, being like, he threw a no-hitter. That's common now. They are turning into being common, and I'll tell you why, or at least what I think why. But it's still an incredible achievement, and when you witness a no-hitter, and when you see a no-hitter, and when you watch a no-hitter, and when you throw a no-hitter, it is a great accomplishment, and you're going to go down in history as one of the members to throw a no-hitter. There's more no-hitters than there are perfect games, but that's because no-hitter and the perfect game is very hard. So is the no-hitter, but perfect game, you can't allow anyone on base. No-hitters, you can allow a guy on base, just not a hit. So, but with no-hitters this year, there have been a lot of them. And like I said, no-hitters are still an amazing accomplishment, and when you do it, you're witnessing history. You're going to go down in the history books as one of, not that many players to throw it. There's obviously, the numbers are growing. Obviously, each time you get a no-hitter, it's an extra player. But, out of all the pitchers in the MLB that have gone through the MLB and at least pitched and started, it's very, very, very cool to see a no-hitter be done. So last season, we saw a no-hitter, Lucas Giolito. I think there might have been another one as well. But this season, obviously last year was weird, 60 games. It's kind of like, it wasn't an opportunity to have 9 no-hitters in 60 games because that's a lot. We're 43, 44 games into the season. We've had 5, so you need 4 more within the next 16 games. I don't think that's going to happen. They're not that common. But this season, we have seen an increase in no-hitters. Now, we have not yet to see a perfect game, but we have seen an increase in no-hitters. So I'm going to name you the no-hitters that have been thrown already this year. Joe Musgrove threw the first no-hitter of the 2021 season. Then it was Carlos Rodon, who threw the second no-hitter. John Means, who threw the third no-hitter. Then Wade Miley. That was like 2 days apart. John Means threw him, and in Wade Miley's next start, which was like a day or 2 or maybe even 3 days later, he then threw his. So that wasn't even that far apart. So there was 2 no-hitters really close together. And then last night, Spencer Turnbull of the Detroit Tigers threw his no-hitter as well. So there have been 5 no-hitters this season. Joe Musgrove, Carlos Rodon, John Means, Wade Miley, and obviously most recently Spencer Turnbull. And then we had the 1 no-hitter with Madison Bumgarner that was a 7-inning no-hitter. Now, that technically does not count, but if you're a Diamondbacks fan and you want to count it, go ahead, count it. I don't really care. I'm not going to count it in this case because there's 5 official ones. His aren't official. You could count that a no-hitter. You could do whatever you want with it. You could take it and run with it. That's a different story, different day. But 5 9-inning no-hitters have been thrown this season. And obviously most recently last night with Spencer Turnbull shutting down the Seattle Mariners. And that's twice this season the Seattle Mariners have gotten no hit. They got no hit by John Means. And then last night they got no hit by Spencer Turnbull. Now, this could be many different things. But there's already been 5, and we're not even in June. It's May 19th today, Wednesday, May 19th, and there's already been 5 no-hitters that have been thrown. Now, this could be a result of so many different things. I'm not going to be that guy and just say, oh, the pitchers are better this season. I'm not. Okay, and I'm not trying to be mean, but Wade Miley, outside of his no-hitter, he has struggled this season. He caught fire for a game. He pitched, he went into the record books, and he's average, but he's nothing great. He did throw a no-hitter, but to be honest, he's been average this season. The couple starts before his no-hitters were not very good. He just so happened to go out there, find his groove, and threw a no-hitter. Now, Carlos Rodon, Musgrove, and Means have had pretty good seasons, and Spencer Turnbull as well. But Spencer Turnbull has had a pretty good season. Got like a 2.08, I think, ERA. He's obviously a 2-something ERA. He's not the best. He's not the worst. He's probably above average. But obviously threw no-hitter, which really helps in pads and stats. So I don't know if I want to say it's just the fact that the pitchers are really good because we haven't seen a pitcher like Scherzer or Cole or DeGrom throw a no-hitter yet. Arguably some of the best out there. But we have seen some of the other guys, like, Carlos Rodon and Wade Miley and Musgrove and obviously Means. They're very good, but they're not up there with the DeGroms and the Coles and the Scherzers and the Kershaws and the Buehlers and the Bauers, right? They're not up there with them, but they are very good. They are solid players. So I don't know if it's just the fact that you could just say, oh, well, the pitchers are just good this year. I don't know if that's the fact because only 5, not only, but 5 of them have thrown. If the pitchers were just that good this year, we would see them every night. It seems like that, but that's not the case. What I really think is the reason we're seeing so many no-hitters is because of the hitting. And that might sound like an obvious answer, but I want to give you some in-depth, analysis on that. Now, I'm not going to give you exact stats, but I'm going to give you stuff that has gone on with the hitting. So, we all know the whole theory. Now, I don't know if this is a theory, but we all know the balls, and the baseballs were supposedly juiced. We all know that, they were supposedly juiced and had more pop in them, and a play that was maybe a fly ball would barely get out, and if you just made a little bit of contact on it, it would be a hit, and that's what we noticed because we were seeing records in league high home runs the past couple seasons, and obviously this season we were seeing home runs last year in 60 games that we would not think was possible. We were seeing home runs all over the place, and they only played 60 games. This season they switched up the baseball. The inside, I believe, I don't know exactly, I'm not a baseball scientist, but they did switch up the baseball. So the supposedly juiced baseballs were, for a couple years, and then now this year they changed it to baseball, and it just so happens that the home run numbers are down, although strikeouts are up. So strikeouts, I don't really think have anything to do with the baseball, because if you can't hit the ball, the baseball, if you can't hit a baseball, that's an issue. If you strike out, if you strike out looking, the baseball has nothing to do with it. You didn't swing. So swinging, and it's very hard to hit a baseball when you don't swing. It's very hard. And obviously, with the juiced baseballs, they took those out and they have this out. Now, something that I thought was interesting was the home runs being way down. Because in years past, we remember seeing guys hit home runs all the time. The Yankees had that big home run streak. I think they had like 31 straight games that they hit a home run. And that was insane. Obviously, this year, the Yankees as an offense has not been that good. But around the MLB, the hitting has not been that good. The batting average is down. The amount of home runs are down. The strikeouts are up, which is alarming. Because at least you could say, okay, if the strikeouts are down and the batting average is down, they're just not doing well. But the strikeouts are up. And that's just how it is in the MLB now. A lot of these guys are swinging for fences. A lot of these guys are getting paid to hit home runs. I'm kind of spoiling it, but in my fantasy baseball league, I dropped the guy who did that. Kristen Yelich is healthy. I dropped Jorge Soler. He's a guy that he's a power hitter. He's a guy that's going to swing for the fences. He's batting, 198 right now? He's really struggling. I released him. I'm not going to play him anymore if he's not going to give me any points. If he's ever so often get a home run. And now it used to be a select few. We used to see a select few guys go out there and hit home runs. Obviously, but now it's really turning into a home run heavy sport. And the hitting coaches are turning into coaches that are teaching you to hit the ball high, hit it far, and hit it out. They're not getting you to hit for contact. And that's why the Yankees gave LeMahieu a 6-year, $90 million extension. Because he's a guy that he hits for contact. He's not swinging for the fences. He'll hit a home run here and there, but it's not swinging for the fences every at-bat. And we've noticed how it's Stanton this season too. He's a guy that he's been able to really hit for contact much better this season. When he joined the Yankees, he was hitting a whole lot more for home runs. This season, he hit for contact and his average is much higher. That's why LeMahieu has such a good average, because his strikeouts are low, his contact percentage is up, his batting average obviously up, his strikeouts are down, and he doesn't have as many home runs. Now, sure, you might hit as many home runs as you want, but if you're going to hit home runs, a lot of times that means your strikeout numbers are going to be up, because you're not going to get as many. You're going to be swinging for the fences. You're going to swing through a lot of good changeups, and you're going to hit a lot of, you're going to expose a pitcher on a bad pitch, but at the same time, a pitcher is going to expose you when they get a really good pitch. And that's the issue around the MLB, and that's why I think we're seeing so many no-hitters, is because there's so many players swinging for the fences. And how can you fix that? Well, some people might just say go back to the old baseball. No, I'm not going to get into the old baseball, juice myth. Now, I do have a baseball from last season. I do have a baseball from I guess you can kind of say the era where there was, the supposedly juiced baseball, and I have another baseball. I have so many baseballs. And, I got a random baseball. And you take out the random baseball, you feel the laces and stuff. You have the ball in your hand. And you take the MLB ball. And I did this before. One day I was just interested in it. And you could tell the laces were raised on the MLB. I believe the laces were raised more on the MLB ball than they were on the other ball. And now they said that the laces are supposed to be flattened more, which I don't really know what that means. Like I said, I'm not someone that dissects a baseball, that, looks at every corner of it. I'm not a guy that, is a baseball scientist. I don't work at the Rawlings factory. I don't know what to say now. I'm not a baseball scientist. I don't dissect the baseball. I don't look at every inch and look at every detail in a baseball. Okay, I like baseball. I throw a lot of baseballs, but I'm not someone that's a baseball scientist. So, whether the laces were causing guys to hit more home runs, but we're also noticing this year too is the flyout numbers are up. And that could be due to the ball. Because we saw a lot of times when there was the supposedly juiced ball, they said that, a lot of the balls that would be, and they did this whole thing, the balls that would be flying out of the park, that were home runs, if you just used the regular ball, they would be flyouts. So now they're back to using a more level, more better ball and a more fair ball, with the laces down more and, taking less pop out of it. And now the flyout numbers are up and the home runs are low. So maybe a ball with the juiced ball that was going to get out of the stadium by a little bit is now ending at the warning track. And that's an issue. And that could cause the increase in no-hitters. And another thing that causes the increase in no-hitters to begin with, not just the home runs and the baseballs, the fact that strikeouts are up. And the fact that contact is down. Guys are no longer hitting really that much for contact. It's all about the home run now. It's all about the home run. They don't care if they're batting 170. All they care about is if they're getting a home run here and there. Because that's what a lot of these guys are getting paid for. And that's an issue. And that's why you're seeing a lot of no-hitters. Because it's a lot of strikeouts. It's not as much contact. Just not as much good hitting anymore. There's not as much pure hitting. And that's why you see a lot more lower scoring games now. It's back to being more of a pitcher-dominant league. And that's very well fixable. A lot of these guys are just swinging for the fences. If they shorten up their swing and not focus on hitting home run, that could change things. instead of going up there and dropping your hands and just trying to get air onto the ball and hit it, go up there and just try to make contact and make solid contact. And that's what they're not doing. And that's why I think we're seeing 5 no-hitters already before June. We're already seeing 5 no-hitters before June. In years past, we've saw 5 no-hitters the entire year. We've gone 5 no-hitters, and we're not even in June yet. So that's crazy. And like I said, for the people out there who are downing no-hitters, I don't like that. I don't like that. But, you gotta, these coaches gotta, get some different techniques. So, hitting coaches and stuff like that. But, you look at these teams that fire their hitting coaches and they don't hit very well after that either because the other hitting coach is going to teach the same exact thing. Just hit for home runs. That's all they're going to do. So, that's why I think there's a spike in no-hitters. But personally, I think it's just guys hitting for fences and the strikeouts numbers are up and the pitchers are being able to, really locate their pitches and, get a lot of good outings. That's how I see it. So let's get into the New York Sports Update now. I just saw this here. So this was Lance Lynn's exact comment. So Lance Lynn said last night, there are no rules when a position player is pitching, adding, the more I play this game, the more those unwritten rules have gone away. And La Russa said of these remarks, Lance has a locker, I have an office, I don't agree. So that's just something else. And a lot going on there with the Chicago White Sox, and a lot of it is stupid and not good. But anyway, let's get into the New York Sports Update. So, as for the NBA yesterday, the Pacers won, and the Celtics won, and the Pacers won. So, I did say I thought the Wizards would win, but the Wizards obviously ended up losing, and I did say the Pacers would win. Pacers smoked the Hornets. Pacers got off to a quick start, and they didn't look back. So Celtics play the Nets now first round, and Pacers will now play the Wizards to depend on who plays the Sixers first round there. As for today's NBA games, we got the Grizzlies Spurs. This game's on today, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. I will give the Grizzlies this win. And Lakers Warriors today on 10 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. I'm going to give Lakers the win, but I think it's going to be a very close game. That's how I see it. Now in the NHL, yesterday, the Golden Knights won, Lightning won, Penguins won, and Canucks won their regular season game. Now, I can see this Lightning series getting out of hand. They're 2-0, and now they head back to Tampa. I could see the Lightning here easily maybe taking another game, and maybe they win in 5 instead of 7, or 6 or 7, whatever. The Lightning right now, Stamkos got going. They're hot. And like I said, Islanders, I saw a little bit of a letdown game coming just because, coming off that OT win and, Paul Murray scoring the goals and everyone getting hyped up, I saw a little bit. But they now head home. So, as for today's games, we got Flames, Canucks. I'll give Flames the win. That's another regular season game. That will close out their season. But we got the Bruins, Capitals. This game comes out today, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on NBCSN. I'm going to give the Capitals the win. I know Bruins are home. I get that. But I think Capitals, I think this series is going to be a tale of a lot of every other. The Capitals will win, and I think the Bruins might take one. It's going to be a close series. Then Hurricanes, Predators. This game comes on today, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on CNBC. Predators hung around early. Hurricanes were hot to finish the game. 3 straight goals. I think they keep that up. Then Oilers, Jets, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on NBCSN. This is the first game of this series. I'll give Oilers the win. And Avalanche, Blues, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time on CNBC. I will give Avalanche the win as well. As for yesterday in the MLB, the Padres won, Dodgers won, Tigers won, A's won, Indians won, Twins won, Royals won, Cubs won, Blue Jays won, Rays won, Phillies won, Cardinals won, Giants won. Mets also won yesterday 4-3. Nitto hit a home run, VR hit a home run. Lindor actually got a double, so that's good for him. And Yankees also won yesterday 7-4. We moved to 23-19 on the season. Solid performance out of Judge again. He had a 2-hit game. And then obviously Urshela, Mayhew, Odor, and Sanchez all had doubles. And Urshela had an RBI, LeMahieu had an RBI, and Duhar had an RBI, and Sanchez had an RBI. And Duhar looked good yesterday. Hopefully he can keep it up. As for today's games, we got the Twins, White Sox. I'll give Twins the win. They don't got Mercedes in the lineup. I'll give Twins the win. Padres, Rockies, I'll give Padres the win. Giants, Reds, I'll give Giants the win. Phillies, Marlins, I'll give Phillies the win. Orioles, Rays, I'll give Orioles the win. Blue Jays, Red Sox, give Blue Jays the win. Nationals, Cubs, give Nationals the win. Cardinals, Pirates, give Cardinals the win. Angels, Indians, give Angels the win. Brewers, Royals, give Brewers the win. Astros, A's, give Astros, Cheaters the win. The Dodgers, Diamondbacks, I'll give Dodgers the win. And Mariners, Tigers, I'll give Mariners the win. As for the Mets also played today. Where are they? Okay, there we go. Mets coming in this game 10-16. Braves coming in this game 19-23. Peterson's on the mound for the Mets, and Charlie Morton's on the mound for the Braves. This game's on today, 7:20 p.m. Eastern Time on Bally Sports South West, I think, whatever it is, and then also on SNY. That's been an issue with the Mets this season, is that 5th spot in the starter. It was Lucchesi a little bit. Now it's Peterson. None of them have done well. Morton's been iffy this season, too. I guess I'll give the Braves the win. I don't trust Peterson on the mound. And I'm not even a Met fan. And I just know they've struggled to fill out that 5-hole. But anyway, as for the Yankees also play today. Yankees come in this game 23-19. Rangers come in this game 19-25. Yankees got Corey Kluber on the mound. The over-under for this game is 9. Rangers have not announced their pitcher yet. I would assume they would probably go with an opener. 62% of people got the Yankees winning this game. Let's see the Mets percentages here. Who will win the game? Okay, 58% of people got the Braves winning the game. And 62% of people got the Yankees winning the game. 8:05 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find this game on Bally Sports Southwest and Yes Network. Kluber's been better recently. I mean, I got to see who the Rangers pitcher is, but I'll give the Yankees to win now. I think they'll probably go with an opener then, because they haven't announced him yet, so they'll probably go with an opener. But Kluber's on the mound. As for fantasy baseball, I'm currently getting smoked. So Mercedes is in the lineup. I thought he wasn't. Or no, my bad. My bad, it was a different player. Okay, so Mercedes is in the lineup. Josh Donaldson, not in the lineup. That's why I benched him. Okay, so I messed up on that. But anyway, I'll still give the Twins the win. That doesn't change my opinion on that game. As for today, we got, as for fantasy baseball, I'm currently losing 128-79. But today I've got going Yerman Mercedes, Luke Voigt, Jay Cronenworth, Gene Segura, Carlos Correa, Marcus Semien, Alex Bregman, Christian Yelich, Whit Merrifield, Austin Meadows, Dylan Carlson, Avisail Garcia, and Will Smith. And I've got Joe Musgrove, Frankie Montas, and Zach Eflin on the mound. Now, I made a move today. I activated I activated Christian Yelich off the IL. I'll read the quick injury report on him. Yelich back, was activated from the injury list Tuesday. Will Sam and the Athletic reports. So I activated Christian Yelich, and I needed another player, or I needed a space to put him. So I dropped Jorge Soler, and just felt like it was the good move. You know, Soler's been struggling, hasn't been producing, so I dropped him. Let me see. Has anyone picked him up? No one's picked him up. So I dropped Jorge Soler and activated Christian Yelich. I've been kind of looking at that move for a little bit here. Looking at that move. You know, I've been trying to figure out who to take out of the lineup. And the one thing with Yelich is he was on the 10-day IL. Then he came back, then he went back on. He played one game, then he was back on the IL. So I'm hoping he could stay healthy here because he's a big part of the team if he can get going. And if he doesn't, then I just know, maybe I do go Soler route. Maybe I make a trade. I've been thinking about trying to make a trade for a reliever because my reliever situation is my starting pitchers are solid. But my reliever is not the best situation. That's why I picked up Tyler Rogers, but he's been good, but I don't know. I mean, hopefully he can keep it up. He's been consistent. That's why I picked him up. He's been very consistent. He'll get you about 8-9 points, which is all I need. My other reliever, Will Smith, he was too inconsistent. Then I also dropped Taylor Rogers because he was inconsistent. They would have a couple good games, then a couple bad games. Couple good games, couple bad games. Couple good games. Tyler Rogers is, you looked at his, last 6 games, he's been consistent, and throughout the season, he's been pretty consistent. So, anyway, with all that being said, that'll do it for the podcast here today. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Comment down below your thoughts on Yerman Mercedes. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. And no hitters in baseball. Would also like to hear your thoughts on that. And that's all I got. With all that being said, that will do it for the podcast here today, like I just said. And yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed it. I will see you all back here tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.